5:30. We'll get the meeting going. All right. What? It is my internet clock. All right. Present is Chief, the 3 commissioners, Kathy Tobine, Deputy Paul Blaisdell from the public, and Sir
Ed Perigo.
And Ed Perigo from the public. All righty. So the first thing on the agenda is.
That's what your last name is. I'm sorry.
P as in Peter. E-R-R-E-G-A-U-X.
French. It's much easier. Just going to say that.
All right. So the first thing on the agenda is call public comments, members of the district or employees of the department. Oh, do you have anything?
I do, but I see it's also on the agenda for later, so I don't know if you want to jump around or.
We can do it either way. What you?
Yeah, what I was going to question the commissioners on. I had heard that there's a possibility of property available on Sanborn Road, and I just wanted to find out, as a member of the building committee,
Okay.
I have a high level of curiosity about that.
Do the commissioners want to move that forward, or do we want to?
I think I think it's going to be a little healthy discussion on that.
There's going to be a lot of discussion.
I think there is.
I'm perfectly fine waiting. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, we get to spend more time in your presence.
And sir, do you have
Lucky
anything?
you,
I just moved to town in January and just kind of beginning to understand sort of everything. And I did get kind of a newsletter from the Water Commission and read on the back page, just kind of curious what the status is, or what the
with the water district and fire district,
the fire hydrants and the water usage, and so I'm just kind of curious how that.
So currently, that's in mediation. It's a process going on with legal and all that. Yes, please.
Sure. I mean, it's just it sounds like a very complex thing. It's like
it is right now.
A certain way for a long time, and then all of a sudden it just kind of was line item was just nixed, and so.
Sure, that happened 2 years ago at our district meeting. The line item was nixed because enough people said that they didn't want to pay that amount for whatever reason they had in their mind. So that led to a point where we were paying for our domestic water service, but we were not paying for the pressurized fire hydrants. The water district at the time tied the pressurized water fire hydrant bill to our Park Street Fire Station bill, so it was like one account. So at some point that account became delinquent because we were only paying for the domestic service portion of it, not the thing. And at some point they shut the water off to the fire station and the fire hydrant in front of it. The next day, we went to court to get a restraining order to order them to turn it back on, because now we can't clean the ambulance or flush the toilet or anything like that. During that day in court, they were shutting off all the other fire hydrants in town. And the court order came out that Friday saying you have to return all the services that you previously had, so that the fire hydrants get turned on and the fire station get turned on, and they were barred at that point from turning them off.
Were they physically shutting them off or just covering them?
So in the fire service, if they bag it to us, that's a sign that it's out of service. Now, whether they actually the only one I saw them turn on was the one at Park Street, because I was there when they actually had to turn it on. All the other fire hydrants, I can't say whether they're just bagged or physically turned off, because I did not see the return of service for those because I was doing other stuff.
Right.
But the only one that I did see was the Park Street station, and they had to physically turn that on.
Okay.
And just for clarification, Mike Robinson, Deputy Chief, the year that the body voted not to support him was supported by the commission and put into and brought forth to the meeting. So in other words, the commissioners supported paying for it and put it in the warrant articles to be voted on.
Okay.
And the public turned it down.
Okay, so then it went from, so that each line item is voted on by the public?
No, this was a new agreement. We usually go in 5-year increments.
Okay.
And so the previous agreement had expired, and the water commissioners and the fire commissioners negotiated a new agreement. That new agreement has to be ratified by the body at that
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Once it's ratified, after that, it goes into the operating budget and is voted with the rest, like,
Okay, that
Everything
makes
else.
more, I mean, like, that would be insane to do every year, having to vote.
It was a
that.
new contract, and
Okay.
because it was going over
Well-
the year, we had to
Sure.
bring it to the public
All right.
first.
And the budget committee withdrew it from the budget, and then the commissioners put it in as a warrant article.
Right.
Now,
And both failed.
you did say something there a minute ago that that would be insane if they did it every year. Well, it was done every year for 40-some odd years as its own warrant article, and it took so much time to go through it.
That makes
That-
sense.
Again, the commissioners tried to negotiate a contract for 3 years that
Right.
said, hey, X number here, there, and then we put it in. But no, for many, many years, it was a warrant article by itself.
Worst part, it always got voted on, but it was close, a few
Yeah,
years.
just-
And even when it got voted down this time, what was it, 2 votes?
It was two
Yes, two
votes.
2 votes, it missed it by.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a contentious item, but it has passed every year for the
40-some years.
46 years I've been going to those meetings, so.
My concern is just that, like, just anytime you start getting lawyers involved, nobody wins.
Absolutely.
The town pays, you know, the water, I mean, it just isn't very counterproductive. So I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how to,
We're aware of it.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
painful right now,
It
and
is.
yes, we tried avoiding everything we could.
Okay.
I mean, there was a mediation session, and now we're just waiting for the courts to approve that. Once that was approved, we reached a middle ground. Like,
So the mediator has met, and it appears like there is, and it just has to be ratified
There's
or
an-
stamped by the courts to say, okay, this is
there's an
acceptable.
agreement in place. I think there was one issue left to be settled by the lawyers, and then it's going to go to the judge. The judge will codify it and then order us to have a special district meeting to fund the new agreement.
but that still has to be passed by the people.
It still has to
The
be
people
passed.
could still reject it. And then
So
we're in court.
that is the one issue that's being final, the last negotiation between the 2 lawyers. If it gets rejected by the voting body, then the next process would be binding arbitration, where if the judge orders the binding arbitration part
Then
of
the
it,
town folk
it just
know,
has to
it
happen
just-
that way.
It's a court order,
Yeah,
like it or lump it.
It's too bad, because I'm assuming the hydrant at Tilton School is still out of service.
it is.
So there's a hydrant at the top of the hill that supports, that is our main fire suppression
Mhm.
for a school that houses 200 students that live
100
there.
change,
Mhm.
And it's been out of service for 4 months.
a year and a half now.
Oh, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Which town do you live in, sir?
Tilton,
Oh.
just up on Circle Drive.
Okay.
Off of Colby, the first
Road.
street off
So
the
you're-
hill,
Oh, yeah,
Take
yeah,
a left
okay,
on
yeah,
Colby,
yeah,
first right.
okay.
right before Dan Swain's place.
Yep.
Everybody seems to know Dan.
Yes, it does. He does my lawn.
Yeah, everybody knows Dan and his wife, it's funny.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Tilton.
Thanks.
Next thing is correspondences. I didn't see any.
There is none.
Okay.
We didn't have a letter?
I don't remember seeing one.
No?
We didn't have something from the attorneys? No?
The chief spoke to us about that. I don't know if that counts.
Maybe I'm confusing something from June with something. in-
You are, because
Okay.
June was a lot.
Okay, and then, it takes a little while to filter out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Some that-
Yeah,
some-
the water district filed a 91A,
That was last month.
and we told them everything that they requested is actually online.
Yeah, that was last month. So,
And the only other thing was he had sent out correspondence, or the chief had sent that they were coming in to swap the meters in the station.
Yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
yep, and that has happened.
Yeah, that was
No,
more
no, it's fine.
notification to the commissioners.
Yeah, no, I just, I know we had something.
Yeah, that was just a notification to let you know it was happening.
Yeah.
We received no correspondence on that.
If you think of something, bring it up.
No, I don't.
All right. We'll jump into Chief's report.
All right, I sent out the chief's report last night to you guys, and I was happy to go over it. If you have any questions,
I barely had a chance to glance at it, so I did glance at it, but.
Oh, you got questions to get started with?
The apparatus and equipment fund balance
yes,
in
Yes.
July, is that what it is, 391,300?
that's the
Yeah.
current balance in the checking account.
And that's before we take the money out for the ambulance or after?
Before,
Okay, so,
The money for the ambulance is already paid. Well, I guess I misunderstood your question. What's your question?
well, that's how much money's in there right now?
That's in the checking account.
Oh, in the checking account, okay.
Wait, no, wait,
Okay,
you're-
I'm mixed up here.
Ambulance revenue.
Yeah, the revenue, I was
Three
thinking of that.
hundred 15,000.
Yep,
Right,
okay,
but we
I'm
have
sorry.
but we paid for the new ambulance already, right?
no, we
Yes.
have not.
No.
Yes, we have.
No, we have not paid for the new ambulance. We paid for the new engine.
I'm confused.
Well,
We have not paid anything on the new ambulance.
why haven't we gotten a bill? Did we give them a
We
check?
just got the bill, Judy, for the, oh, for Tim's truck.
We paid for the ambulance.
Oh, the ambulance is paid for, sorry, I was speaking of Tim.
The only thing we haven't paid for is the new
Deputy's
deputy's car.
Okay. Which, with the final, that's what that check
Yes.
was for,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
handover at the time of the transfer.
Right.
Well, I'm doing math in my
Oh.
head here.
All right.
And I'm
So,
just like
yeah.
on the wrong page.
Yeah, so the ambulance is paid for, the
Okay.
engine is paid for, the deputy's car will be paid for this week.
Okay.
Yes, everything's paid for except the deputy's car, sorry.
Okay.
I guess that's what I was, I get mixed up, it was the deputy's car where I got concerned.
Okay.
We're both confused.
Yeah,
So we got the new ambulance?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
brought the check down when I picked it
Okay,
up.
no, I'm like, I don't think they let us
They
take
were-
the ambulance without paying.
They're
Yeah,
not
we've
gonna
done
let
that.
me bring it, take it, without the check. Oh, they might have.
Well, the only thing I had on page one is I noticed that the disinfectants are in service. Are they
Yes.
working well? They doing what you expected?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So, hold on, Rand. On page two, I have the bathroom at Park Street. Is 85%?
Yeah, the last thing to do is the flooring in there, and we have to do a full leveling process in there, and just haven't got to it right now, but we'll get there.
Have they started putting anything on the new tower? I see there's one antenna, but I don't see any
There's
cables.
actually two antennas.
There are? Okay.
Yes, so the tower project, I had a meeting this first thing, I had two meetings at the same time, but I attended that one first. AT&T was there because they need a gas service to their emergency generator. Their emergency generator is different than ours. Ours, it already has gas supplied to it. So they have to go to Liberty Utilities, and they have to supply a new gas line to the site, which will run, the main on Park Street ends, if you're looking at the island on the right, it ends right there, so they're gonna continue it from that end all the way across the front of the station, down Park Street to past the telephone pole, and then take a right and go into the facility. That gas main is to be sized to handle 4 additional generators besides the 2 that are going to be there. So it should be able to have the 5 generators total. And why Liberty Utilities didn't size the gas pipe originally appropriately, it was their choice not to. Because I told them that at the time when they put the new pipeline into the fire station, that they should size it appropriately for the cell, because there was going to be a cell tower there with a number of generators, and they says, well, they're not there now. I says, don't you plan for the future? There was no planning on their part, really. They sized it for what we needed and nothing more.
Eric, you got something?
Yeah, I'm visualizing. So it's gonna go across the
Across the ramp.
So this is your This is your whole piece of land there, right?
Yep.
You got an island here.
Yep.
This is town of Northfield.
Yep,
We had a firehouse here. We have a tower here.
yep.
We're looking at building in this area. They're gonna run a gas main from here. Is it gonna go across where we're possibly looking at a building?
So, it's not really to scale there.
No, it's not scaled,
There's
it's
a-
not even to
there's a-
anything, but
There's a Smoky Bear sign here.
it's,
and
oh, so it's gonna go by Smoky
It
Bear.
would have, the new building would not exceed, you know, the going past the Smoky Bear sign. There's a telephone pole here. The gas line has to go past the telephone pole, and then it'll come straight into
Okay.
this corner here.
I'm just making sure we're not putting a gas line.
Uh,
where
that's why I
we're
was
gonna have to
there
spend
this morning.
thousands of dollars in a couple of years.
That's why I was there this morning, to make sure there's, if we expand at that fire station, there's going to be no impediments, gas lines, telephone poles, whatever. I'm making sure everything is put way over here, out of the way of any addition to the Park Street Fire Station.
Is it going into their wetland buffer?
No.
Anything that will impact us?
Nope,
It's gonna be back in the far enough back from that.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was concerned about that.
Yeah, I had the same concern about how far and how they're gonna do it with the
It's,
ramp
it's
and
a
all
good
that.
distance away from the wetlands.
Well, I was also concerned about the ramp and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
my major concern, and making sure, because I had a meeting with the electric company, Eversource. Their plan was to put a new pole, like right in the middle where the new front ramp was gonna be, and so when I was up there kicking and screaming, saying, no, it's not gonna happen there. And so I have a meeting with Eversource next Friday on the site to say, put the pole here, not here.
No, the tower itself, because I see the one antenna on there, I just didn't see anything on the cable tray areas, cables going up or anything.
There's no cable on the antenna yet. The spool of cable is actually sitting on the ground. They're not going to be doing any work on the facility until they get further along with the utilities, because they're kind of like at a standstill right now.
So if they have the equipment up there, but it's not being powered or cable communicated
So
with, are we
AT&T has
collectively-
their shelter
Yep.
and the emergency generator. They do not have any antennas on the structure.
Okay, I thought I saw one off to the side, or maybe it's a weather or something.
There are 2 antennas up there currently, and both belong to the fire department.
Oh, okay. And are we tied into that yet?
No.
Okay.
Any idea how long?
So the woman from Eversource, when she was talking to Jeff, who was the site foreman for the site for the wireless edge, she says it might take a year. Well, I'm going to push that. So I mean, that's Eversource talking to Jeff, but Eversource talking to the fire chief might be a different story.
So do you have a gas line going down to our
Yes,
emergency box?
we have emergency gas and a generator.
So
Our generator's not sitting there, but we have it. It's on site.
But theoretically, they could power up the fire department side of it.
They
Pretty-
could if we wanted to run it on generator power. We don't.
Oh, we don't have shore power to it.
No,
Okay.
unless we run an extension cord.
No, okay. Just trying to figure out for when the lease starts and our usage and stuff, since you got the big tower there that everyone gets to see.
So there may be no revenue in 2022.
Right.
I hope there is.
I hope so.
I'll see what happens after the meeting next Friday. See what-
Friday,
See
okay.
what her thing is.
You can just kind of send an update when you have
I
a...
will.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Tower. I see that you have two dry hydrant locations. They were,
Yes, cutting 2 $400 checks to go to DES for the permits. They've been through the wetland process to make sure there was no special animals or plants there that had to be protected. So that's all been approved. I have those numbers, those approval numbers. Now it goes to DES, and it could take, it's probably going to be a month before we get here from DES. And I talked to Steve Partridge. Right now, he said he might be able to get to it.
He's pretty busy right now.
He's very busy. All of the contractors I talked to are all very busy. So trying to get somebody in there to actually do these things is, well, it's gonna be first come, first served,
Yes.
probably.
Now, what are they? Sanborn Road and Silver, are they dry hydrants or
They're
the
dry-
cisterns?
Both dry hydrants.
They're both dry hydrants,
Yeah.
okay, into the water,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
So I do have a cistern.
Where's your pond on Sanborn Road?
You can't see it from the street,
Oh, okay.
but it's there. So if you go Sanborn Road, Lancaster Hill Road,
Yep,
the first house on the right after that, is a
Yep.
big white house
yeah,
that sells gladiolas.
yep.
Go past the house, there's a fence along the road. At the end of the fence, there's a tree. Just after that tree, if you take a right angle, it'll bring you right up to a pond. But it's elevated, so you can't see it.
Well, I know that guy that sells maple syrup there, his front yard always seems to be wet, so it must be the downward water from that.
He has a sprinkler system.
So how far in is it from the road?
70 feet-ish.
It's not bad.
No,
And will you have to do like compacted gravel, I assume, or for the,
yeah, we're gonna, it actually, technically, it's gonna be a wet hydrant because the pond is higher than the road. So we'll
Yeah.
have to put like a regular fire hydrant in with a gate on it. And we'll have to keep the pipe underneath the frost line to keep
Yeah.
it from freezing. But, so it's gonna be a good source, it's a good
Yeah.
sized pond. The one on Silver Lane, that'll be a true dry hydrant. That's only like 20 feet from the road. It's
Nice.
literally
pull off?
right there.
So, like,
Silver Lane, up at the shop.
oh, it's off that way.
Yeah, it's in Northfield.
Those down this way, up to like Union or something.
I have one cistern location that I'm working on. Basically, the residents have acquiesced to that. I have to talk with them a little bit further, but that is off of Sanborn Road. You take a right on Vista Heights. Second house on the right before it splits and goes around. That cistern will be able to serve Orchard and Vista Heights. Is about 40 houses there. And that would be a certified water source that would help with the ISO rating in that area.
What gallons for that one approximately?
30,000 gallons.
30,000?
Yeah.
That's some good progress on that. All right, what else do people have for questions? Anything on the front, or you want to get into the? I don't see anything jumped out at me on the apparatus and equipment.
The equipment grant, we finally got the last piece of equipment on the equipment grant for the ventilators, and we got the invoice, so I'll be able to submit for reimbursement for those back to Gopher. I'll get that in before the end of next week. It's probably sooner than that, but excellent. That's my timeline on that. And the radio reprogramming grant, all that documentation has been submitted for reimbursement, just waiting. Mistake.
I thought of this the other day, because it's August 1st, and then we're never hearing about it in November, July 1st. But remember there was discussion about Northfield withdrawing.
Did not get a letter. I had a executive board meeting with the Lakes Region today, and we did not receive any letters saying that they were withdrawing from it.
So they did not withdraw. So I heard rumor from someone that they did, but I can't remember the name.
I would have been notified.
I figured.
Sure.
I figured.
And that did not happen, so they have to remain for another year.
Okay. I remember when someone was talking to me that there was no voting representation for Northfield.
They have not appointed,
Right.
I mean, I've offered to be their representative, but they said they'd rather have nobody.
That's what I heard from someone, is that not that there was no Northfield representation at the, that's why I was wondering.
A nice volunteer gig for John.
No. Going through the operating budget, I was looking at it, I saw a couple of things that were like 250% of the budget line, 215% is more in vehicle repairs. We gotta have a place, that was page 4, are we, have a place where you know that's gonna come from. Since it was like $5,000 over budget on A1 and,
Yeah, so that comes out of the extra money that is appropriated for, we
The
don't know
net,
what,
the
The
first
other.
line.
the top line.
okay. Just trying to keep track of those, where the lines, you know.
But it's actually line 660, vehicle repairs other.
Yep.
It's actually the bottom line on the.
That's right, it did flip, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, which, okay, so you had enough to cover it with that other so far.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I mean, what about fuel, are we gonna be pulling out later on, or
So, yeah,
diesel doesn't seem to be coming down, but
no,
gas
gasoline
price-
has come down a little bit.
Unfortunately, none of our engines run on gasoline.
No. So that's one area of concern. And even though we upped that amount for this year, the price increases have far exceeded what our anticipated.
Well, yeah, I think we
increase.
anticipate like $5 a gallon, it's kind of up to like 6, so.
So hopefully, we won't have any other large expenses in vehicle repairs, and we can take the money from there to fund those lines. That's my plan currently.
So, on line 4332, pressurized
Page 4?
hydrants, page 4, sorry, I just stay on the same page. Yeah, that's what we've received billing for.
That is
But
correct.
we haven't, obviously, we haven't paid that.
Correct.
And that's through 3 quarters? 4 quarters? No.
That's
Was that for the whole year?
2 quarters.
That's 2 quarters.
2 quarters.
Oh, that's
But-
right, because they're billing us at a much higher rate.
Right, but if and when the agreement is ratified,
Right, it would go back to that amount.
that amount you guys agreed to pay, was it $60,000 for the, up until July 1st? In arrears? There was-
Close to that.
There was something in arrears, so that number would go away and it would be a lot less. But going forward, it'd be a little bit higher. And there was escalations for every year after
Oh, yeah. Well, there's still not an agreement even going forward. That was just trying to get out of the rears.
So what happened with ladder 1, that you had to put some money into it? L1? Is that ladder?
That was,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
the ladder.
the PM,
Oh, right.
and there was, they had a hole in the exhaust.
That's not good.
It's a stainless steel exhaust, I don't know how it had a hole in it, but they had to replace a piece of the pipe in there.
Bottomed out on some good rock or something.
No, it was like
Steel eating mice.
it was rusted, corroded by something.
Okay.
DPF, no, DPF itself, because
That's fine.
that's $6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And then I saw in inspections that you did have, the captain or
Captain Belvane.
Captain Alvini was out doing some inspections, so you see that each month he's trying to get more people out there doing the stuff,
Yep.
which is great to help out the deputy on that. And then you have your run calls,
Yes.
which is a new report format for it, which is, okay. So, okay, the incident type code has gone away, it's now gone to a reference number.
So that's because, that was my mistake. I didn't want to reprint the whole thing all over. Basically, the 300s are medical car accidents, 100s are fires, 200s are explosions, 400s are, I can't remember them all.
Okay. So at some point, just in case it does that, could we just get kind of a cheat sheet?
It'll, no, that was
It'll
my,
actually show it out?
next month it'll show it out.
Okay.
And I'll probably get rid of the code number and just have the type,
Okay.
the specific type.
Either that or like a cheat sheet, and if it's coming out in advance, and we can kind of see, like based on what you said there, like 300s, we could go through and see EMS, and yeah. Yeah, just saw that, but I mean, other than that, I like the rest of it. And then overlapping calls, this is usually a Paul question.
like there's been a lot of them lately.
If we have one, we have like 2 or 3. They just come in piles.
I'm just going by the text on the image one.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything? Actually, it has the, yeah, I see what you mean. It's in types on this one, has it spelled out as a report as opposed to the code.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was an error on my part in picking what columns to print. Because it gives me a whole bunch of columns, like, do we want to print the zip code?
No, thank you.
Do we want to print the actual physical address? No. Do we want to, there's so many things that, like, I have to take out
Yeah.
so that it gets to be a small amount of.
Does it kind of like export to Excel and then you can strip off the columns you want?
So, yeah, I can put it in Excel, but I can also strip it in the report format in the
There
software.
you go, okay. Nice. It's learning new software, what you said.
Yep.
Yeah, Scott, I was pretty comfortable with.
The biggest thing that we have going on in the software right now is that the export from Firehouse,
Yes.
importing into Image Trend, addresses and occupancies are all mixed up. Locations are actual addresses, and Firehouse locations were people that lived at our businesses, and they're backwards. And so when they put it in Image Trend, it's all jumbled. And so every time we go to a place, we have to straighten it out. And that's a process,
Okay.
because there's thousands.
Can you build also, when you do that, like special requirements in houses, like, I know firehouse usually have like big dogs and things like that.
Yes, yes, those
Hazards,
are-
and you used to be able to know that when you got
Yes,
there, or.
there are still dispatch, we put them in, and then we also put them in dispatcher notes saying, you know, there's a vicious dog there, or something like that,
Or other
you know, the
things,
keys under the rug, you know, things like that.
hard at hearing and things, yeah, no,
And the other thing that got messed up, and this is another thing that we have to rebuild, is the zones. So, like, if you're in East Tilton, we had a number, and it was in that zone. If you in, you know, West Northfield, you know, there was a zone.
3 or 4
Those
zones through
don't,
town.
they don't match anything anymore, and so that's the other thing we have to rebuild. And that's important to know where the calls are. So it makes it, now we have to like, it's just, no, it's
Did-
just a process.
Did your pre-plans transfer over?
Yes.
Okay,
So the run cards, all the run cards are fine. The pre-plans have transferred over.
okay,
But
that's the
we're-
big one, yeah.
That's something that we do every year anyways. We're in a, it's a continuous process.
Yes, but having the initial building layouts and stuff that you had in the past, you have those
Yes,
things for
yes.
the high.
And we keep those in Dropbox too, so in case something goes crazy,
Okay.
we can get them out of
Sounds
Dropbox.
secure. I'm good on the chief's report. And you?
No, the incidents here. I guess I need to be, can you explain what, I mean, you got 3 in a row here, 3 in a row here, 22-1143, then you got 22-1144. Is that the same call, or is that
Those are all separate calls that were happening at the same time.
at the same place, or is
Different places.
Okay, Paul, if you look, okay, I've got it where you are,
Yeah,
1143.
yeah.
These incidents, 42, 44, 45, all overlap with this one. That's what it's telling you,
okay,
okay?
Yep.
And the same thing here.
okay. Just
Because
so I
you've got
understand.
different numbers here, and this is telling you that it's overlapping with this incident.
Okay.
So using that example, so they were out on call 1142.
Right.
And while they were out on that call, there were
These other
3
calls
there were
came in.
3
Okay, I
additional
understand.
calls.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of what I thought, but I just.
Because it says
wanna
here,
take a
like
look
this
at that?
one here,
Just-
221145.
I just needed it for the initial part, but
Steam or vapor.
take a look through things.
There were 3 incidents with that same thing?
That's what it says.
No,
but
it
that's
comes
from-
up, no, it shows what the first
First
one
one
was, not
Not what the
not
other
everything
ones are.
else.
Okay, so the second one, you don't know what it was?
No, I don't know.
And it could be the same.
I can look it up.
Oh, no, I don't care, I just, it just looks funny, three all the same if they were different call, I mean, if they're separate calls, have three of the same thing.
Like 1142 was a motor vehicle accident with injury.
Yeah,
Well, we don't know.
1143,
was the same thing,
Well, you can actually,
they're all the same, all three were the same.
Not really.
The same, when you get over here, this cover assignment, stand by, move up. I mean, there's four right there. I mean,
so what number are you looking at?
He's on page,
well,
yeah, pick a page.
Pick one.
pick page.
let's do this one here,
4 or 5.
4 or 5, overlapping incidents, 221189.
1145, is that the number you're looking at?
No, 1189.
Right here.
1189. So if you look at the incidents on the incident list that I gave you,
That's where it will tell you.
1189,
When the call comes in,
they went to Concord
another call
They were
comes in.
for a 3-alarm
Some
fire.
places use 3 calls
And
occurring.
it's like the same one with actually 3 different.
Have to compare the two.
And
What was it, 11?
Next one,
You gotta go back and forth.
So in other words, you gotta go back to this page here.
well,
Well, unless you put two of them side by side.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
so I haven't been able to figure out how to get the
So you don't have to
simultaneous
send an engine.
calls,
You just send an engine.
how, what, two, like at the very top, call number 1215,
Yeah.
how to print what that actually was, and then what the other call was after that.
We had 3 minutes.
This is like a canned report.
So 2
Yeah,
on
it doesn't
one,
give you a
one
whole
send
lot
an
of options of,
Now
I can eliminate stuff, but adding it to specifically what
So these
all
are
these other
basic
calls
calls.
were.
Surrounding towns
It's,
were-
yeah, you
And
have
these-
to
these are all
export to
toned up
Excel, and
calls?
then export
They
to
all
Excel
got
again,
toned?
and then
Yes.
merge in
So in other
columns and
words,
stuff.
the station
Yeah,
coverage got tone,
Yeah.
that's a call.
I just didn't know if you guys had questions and stuff. It's
Oh my
unfortunate,
God.
it's so
That is
thick that we
correct.
don't print
Okay.
extras.
If I'd seen it from the beginning, I probably would have questions, but
Okay.
I don't want to hold you
I
guys.
think in the future, maybe print like one extra for the public.
I have Deputy Rubert's copy
Oh,
of that.
okay.
'Cause
But if we could have like one for the public too, just if someone's here, they could look at, kind of scan through it real briefly. I think it would be beneficial.
Because I actually looked at this today, and I see all these station coverage. You were all.
Well, if you look at the left, where it says station coverage, you'll see what the call is. That's what the real call, and station coverage means that people came in, the call company
Now,
came in.
what I'm getting at is were they all toned out as station coverage?
No.
So not, okay, that's, because there was 53 of them, station, if they were toned out, there's 53 calls.
No.
No.
Okay, that's, okay.
So this
that's-
is, this is how,
call
this
force
is how we
responding.
show who came in, who responded, this is how we pay the call folks.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
I was concerned about station coverage getting toned out every time.
Correct.
And like I said, just that month, there was 53 of them.
Yeah.
And if it happened that way, that's 600 and some odd calls a year. Okay.
No, not that many.
The amount of times that we actually tone for station coverage has gone down
Good.
since we put
For
our-
overtime callback
Yes,
is what, okay. Because, so what station coverage here is, that's like call force coming in.
yes,
That's that, as opposed to callback.
that's correct.
Now, does callback have a different code by
No,
chance?
it would still probably show as station coverage,
Okay.
I think.
They do it on the incident. It's still the same incident. So if the guy's going to Concord and they know it's going to be a while,
Yep.
they will request a callback,
Mhm.
and dispatch will tone it out, but everything comes back in on that one incident number.
Just one time.
Just
Okay.
one incident
It's a
number.
retone for the same
It's a
incident.
retone.
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
same incident.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, okay. All right. I'm comfortable
Now
with
that,
it.
okay, I didn't understand that, but now I
This
do.
is critical information.
I understand.
Sadly, I do that because I listen to the scanner sometimes, so I hear.
Okay. So you got any more questions? You
No, I'm good on that now.
You got any more?
No, I'm
It's for a single.
Okay. All right.
I guess my only
Yeah, go for
question would be what's POV?
Personal
Personal
vehicle.
owned vehicle, so if the deputy responds to a call, he's responding in his own
Oh, I
vehicle.
thought he was C2.
He is
He is.
C2,
But he's not-
but he
that's
responds
not our
in
department
his
vehicle.
personally owned vehicle, it's
Oh,
not a
okay.
department vehicle.
So you responded to your Tahoe, whatever.
Yes.
Or the,
So when we see
Pickup truck.
POV,
No, that pickup truck doesn't go unless I happen to come across it. It was on the front page many, many years ago when Tony Sturgeon. They weren't allowed to go in, but my company truck was parked side the road and they got it right there. What was I doing that day?
Oops.
are you called out sick?
No, no.
so out of curiosity, POV, if we see that, is it deputy or do they, if personnel goes direct to
It's
the scene?
usually only the deputy, but on occasion,
By
it
exception.
might be somebody else.
Someone was
just
closer
because
there and they
were
stopped
right
at the
there.
medical and,
Right.
okay. I just
And it
wanted to
would only
clarify
be for
that.
medical, it wouldn't be for any
You're
other.
driving up 93, coming home, you see the accident, pull over.
Or somebody living in East Hilton
Yeah.
and the incident's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't drive by.
Yeah, you go straight to the scene, stabilize until the ambulance. Okay. Yeah, no, that all sounds. All right, report of committees.
Where are we now?
Number
I got it.
5. All right, so standing committees right now, the only one we have station, which we just didn't break them out. We also have safety grant.
I didn't break it out because there's nothing to report.
Right. I know that reports of the committees, and I think this is where Paul has joined us, is he had a question about the station and discussion
Oh,
about.
since I'm
San
on
Juan
both
Day.
committees,
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, all right.
so just an update on the SAFER grant, we're just, we've kind of come to our conclusions. We've presented that information to you guys, and we're letting time lapse and get your feedback, and then we're going to make, formal recommendations on that funding. We've certainly looked at a multitude of different funding options and narrowed down the ones that we think are most viable. And so that's kind of on the back burner now. I think we've done all we can do right now. The building committee or facilities committee. Guess we've been focusing on Park Street and got sort of a plan together for the size of the building and how to move forward with construction management and scorecards, and we're looking at different architects and construction management teams, and we'll be interviewing them. So our meeting, we have 2 meetings in August. We had scheduled 2 meetings. The first one is the 12th. It was canceled because so many people were on vacation, including both the chief and myself. So our next meeting is on the 26th, and that's when we're going to, we've got the entire document completed. You guys have reviewed it. It's been to legal, it's been to the state, right, chief? Has that returned from the state yet?
DRA.
Not the DRA. Primex has looked at it, and that has been moved on to Attorney Fitzgerald. He has it. I talked to him about that, and he said we should have it back shortly.
Okay.
And then it's got to go to the state?
Nope,
No, that's it.
that's it.
So by the 26th, we'll have it?
Yeah, so we're just waiting on Attorney Fitzgerald's to return the
And then you
document.
guys will send it out.
It has,
Requested for,
there are a number of amendments that both parties have probably suggested that we'll have to make sure that are put into the contract.
And are they making mandatory recommendations or just recommendations?
Well, I think the ones that I've seen from Primex, although they're not mandatory, they're highly advisable to protect us from liability of certain things, so,
So they're mandatory?
yeah.
Okay.
Highly encouraged.
So, I mean, that's just in a very short description, I guess, where we're at on those 2 committees. Or that's my opinion of where we're at on those 2 committees.
It's the 29th, not the 26th. The 26th is Friday. It's Monday, the 29th.
Thank you. I'd have shown up on Friday. So it's the 29th of August. Thank you.
It's not
It
the
is the
22nd.
It's the 29th.
Because
29th.
I thought we did it on the 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, that got
Yeah, but
changed
that
to
got
the
changed.
15th and then 29th, but
Okay.
for whatever reason, I don't
Kevin
remember the
changed
reason.
it.
Okay, because I was tracking the 2nd and the 4th as well.
Yeah.
I did the same.
Okay.
And
All right.
Okay, so it's August 15th meeting was canceled.
that's
The
correct.
29th is still on. Thank you,
Okay.
Kathy.
All right. Yes, thank you.
It is on.
I haven't looked at the calendar yet, the district calendar yet.
Oh, yes.
So, all right.
So while that's not an official report, that's,
No, it's appreciated. So the other part of that is you did have a question during public about Sanborn Road. So it was, and please, I'm not sure how much to share or not share, so.
It's public because
Okay.
it was not held in.
All right, I just want to make sure of that now. So the,
Was it public?
yeah, it was,
Yeah, it was
it was
public.
a public meeting, so the Tilton Selectmen and the commissioners sat down and talked about a possible feasible use of the remaining lot to the north side of the police station, the green field that's in that corner of the Tanger parking lot.
if I look at the police station, this is the area to the left?
Correct.
And behind, or just to the left?
Just to the left.
Just on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you use that parking lot to the middle, then to the left of that.
So right now, there's a
So
lot
has-
of thoughts about it.
Has the town offered that to the fire district?
I don't think they really made an offer, they suggested.
Yeah,
They suggested that it would be available, or they suggested that the fire department build a station there?
they wanted more talking. They wanted us to come up with a proposal because there is, they want to see about financial or transfer of lands, things like that. So they wanted more talking.
If I'm a Tilton resident, the last thing I want to do is pay for that land again, so
That was
it's
the,
going to be a struggle
Yes.
getting that in the budget.
yep, we know. That was brought up by them directly.
So there's going to have to be a transfer
Yeah.
of land.
Well, one of the ideas, I think it was the swapping. The
Center-
land that the Center
Center
Street
Street.
Station sits on for that land.
And the fire district would be responsible for demolishing the building.
There's things that we'd have to talk about with that, but that's points to be brought up.
I've had people tell me that'd be a great place for a brewery, so I don't know.
Yeah, you
No
step
place to
out-
park though.
Well, that's another story.
You take one step off the stairs and you're in the street. That's the problem with that
Yes.
building.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if the town owns it,
They talked about parking lot and things like, so that's why it was an initial talk. There was no real solid anywhere, but it was just to get a feeler out there from both sides of an
This is
interest.
strictly exploratory right now.
Thank you. That
So-
was probably a better way.
So the focus of the commissioners, and if I'm putting words in your mouth, just say no, Paul, that's not the way.
Sometimes you define better than I do, so.
So it's the intention of the commissioners right now to proceed with Park Street as the only viable site for a fire station. Is that correct, or no?
Coming out of the meeting, it was still on track for that, I think.
I think a couple things I heard at the meeting there. I think in order for them, it was made, if I'm wrong, I think I heard they made some kind of deal putting a football field or park there. And I don't know if they promised the people that, because I'm not a Tilton resident, if they promised the people that with the idea they can have this if we can have our police station. And that's the way it sounded to me.
There is that, there is some restrictions on the property from the Tilton side of what they offer that they have to work out for themselves. That could,
Here's my concern. How many times have we presented a fire station proposal to the district with question marks?
Mhm.
The last thing we want to do right now is that same thing. So what we need to decide, now again, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but what we need to decide is what direction are we going to go? And if we're going to go with the potential of in Tilton on Sanborn Road, we might as well put everything aside right now, because that's going to be several years in getting all that worked out. And there's no sense working with a design or construction management team or architects or anything. So what we need, the building committee, and again, I'm speaking for myself, what I need from you guys is, what direction do we plan on going? Because there's no way I'm gonna be on another building committee to get to the end and have somebody say, well, what about the site in Tilton? There can be no questions when we make our proposal to the public, none. So what I would like you guys to do is think about, do we even want to address that? Yeah, it may be a good site. It sounds like there's going to be restrictions on it. I think the chief has already presented enough information for us to know that that's a better locale than Park Street, but it's not a good locale if it's got restrictions on it and we can't use it. And we spend 2 years fumbling around trying to determine what do we do next. I think what we need to do is determine a direction and go in it. Whichever direction that is, I'm not advocating one or the other. But no more backpedaling, no more treading water, no more question marks.
So, just to clarify for you, when the word restrictions, that piece of land can only be used for municipal use. That's the restriction. So we can't sell it to the Tanger Outlet for them to expand the parking lot or to put 5 stores or whatever. You can't do that. So it can only be used for municipal use. One of the other questions is, as part of the discussion to purchase that land and put the police station there, was that it was mentioned that, well, because if you remember, what did you say it was, north? So that football field originally went north-south on the backside. The idea was to turn it,
East-west.
to put it east-west. But depending who you ask, some say we've been told it won't fit there, and some have said it will fit there. So the town of Tilton needs to figure out the avenue that they want to go at that to figure that out. But it was that's the only restriction. It's not like, it can't be. No, it's trying to figure that out. The only restriction that really is in the deed is it can't be used for like a commercial use.
But if there was a verbal commitment,
Well, that's
by the police, the group, the committee, or the selectmen, to whoever, I don't even know who the football team is. Is it?
It's not to the football. It was at the town meeting that the purchase of the land in 2019, maybe.
So there was a commitment at that time to keep enough land
But it
available.
wasn't part of the warrant article when the verbiage to the purchase
Right, I
of
get
land.
it.
It didn't have, and we will.
I get it.
It was, it was part of the discussion, but during that process, I believe someone on for the developer or something like that, or architect or something, tried to, got basic dimensions of what a football field was, and but it all depends where you measure from. So the town needs to figure it out. They need to do it quickly.
Okay, so is there a timeline for getting some of these answers? Or is
I'm
it just,
going to bring it up as part of my selectmen's report on Thursday. So just to let you know, I'm also selectman in town Tilton.
so for now, what's the direction you guys are taking, or what direction are you leaning? What are your thoughts?
Do you want me to give my opinion?
I absolutely want
Okay.
everyone's
Okay.
opinion.
My opinion, Paul, is let's move forward to what we got. We've spent thousands of dollars in several places to look at, and none of them worked. And I'm not saying this ain't gonna work. Maybe down the road in the future, we might be able to do something. They put a substation or something. But right now, let's concentrate on Northfield. And I know Tilton's gonna say, we pay the greatest amount of taxes, it should be in Tilton. It's not a matter of Tilton, Northfield. We're a district. It's one group. We're looking out for the same thing. It's not
Agreed.
because we pay more, we should have it in our town. That ain't the way to look at things.
No, it isn't, but unfortunately, that's how sometimes it's perceived.
Well, they should
Because on
look
2
at-
occasions, Northfield has said, hey, we want to secede. Well, again, you got to step back and look at, let's build a new fire station. Now let's secede.
I can see that.
The department has mobile vehicles when it comes time to negotiate to split it out, but you got a fixed object, Northfield keeps it.
The only trouble might.
But the problem is, now we're talking about they don't want to join mutual aid.
I think that's a very small population in Northfield.
Well, but they seem to be the controlling
They
ones.
seem to be the vocal ones,
Exactly.
Yes.
not controlling
It
them.
would never happen in Northfield, because why would they wanna hire people and everything? And they pay a small percentage now. What do they pay, 39 or 40%?
Yeah, yeah.
So why would you give up that and pay a lot more, have to pay a lot more?
It's fine.
I don't know, but boy, they sure were
I
rallying
mean,
for
I was
it.
on
They
there
had
years
plans
ago
and-
when we went through this. Remember, we had lawyers and everything.
Oh,
And we had
absolutely.
lawyers to find out what was gonna be split up and what was going where and who, and the town voted it down. They didn't want any part of it, and it beat by a lot.
So if I could summarize your statement, and again, tell me if I'm characterizing this incorrectly. It's your desire to stick with the Park Street site and move forward
Move forward.
with that.
And, yeah, and
Okay.
if for some reason it gets voted down, then we got plenty of time to look at it.
John?
I'm in favor of going forward where it is with the one station. I'm looking at it from the operational side of things, of having all the crew together. And right now with that, you would have the call force as well. So I'm all in favor of going with the one station there, and then future, a substation.
Eric? Please?
So, being the one person at this table that has the advantage of holding an elected position in Tilton, and I'm also an elected position for the district. And I've had mostly people from Tilton tell me they would not support a plan that didn't include something in Tilton. Now, what that is, I don't know. But from what I've been told, from just discussing with different people, and people, not like a fly-by-night conversation, but you sit there and talk about it for 5 or 10 minutes, that unless there's a definitive plan, not something to say, oh yeah, in 5 or 8 years, but if that's part of the plan, so that it's binding, if you will, I don't know the lack of a better word, that says there's going to be something built on that, if that's the site. And I think that's the only site. There's talk about J. Jill, but I think that prolongs the process. To put something there, they won't support the plan.
Ask a favor.
Yeah.
Next time you have a conversation with those people, whoever they are,
Yeah.
ask them to come to some of these committee meetings. Ask them to come to the
I do
commissioners'
tell people to
meetings.
come to the meetings.
And I mean, as a committee member, I want to hear input from the townspeople. Because right now, we're 9 people.
Yeah.
We're representative of both towns, but there's no public input.
No.
There's not even questions. What are you guys doing? You're meeting twice a month. What are you doing?
No, I get it.
Nothing. And it's, and the way, if, I understand the concerns of the people you're describing, and I have them as well. What are the alternatives? What can you bring to the table to assist us in making the correct decision? Because there's always going to be someone that's unhappy. Shut up.
I don't know how to silence
He's
Mike.
been my work phone.
Yeah.
I know how to silence it.
You flush it.
But
So-
no, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I tell people to show up to the meetings, and you're the one that shows up the most at all these meetings, except for during budget time. We seem to get more people during budget time. But I just,
One.
it's, yeah, and Mr. Perico is, blessed us with his presence today, and
Maybe we'll get on with some committees.
yeah. But
I was waiting for that.
Got your running
You wore
shoes on.
your running shoes on.
Yeah, you
But
wore your
it's-
sneakers.
So I want to see something that gets us out of that building, because that building,
Yes.
that building right now scares me to death, that we're gonna get hit with a lawsuit somewhere down the line, and we're not gonna have a choice. We're gonna, if we have to strap together 20 FEMA trailers to make a fire station, then, and that's what we have to do, God, then we're gonna have to live in FEMA trailers for 180 more years, because how old's that station now?
So pardon my ignorance, but so the Park Street station that's proposed is replacing the downtown station
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't
This
know
building-
that.
this
I thought
building
that would be
here
a
is-
second station.
No.
Okay.
The Center Street station over here would go away from
Okay.
the fire district.
Okay.
It's not proposed.
Now I understand a little bit more about somebody from Tilden saying, well, screw that, it's not gonna be, okay. I was like, what the hell's the big deal?
Yeah,
You
no,
got
that-
one here, you got one there.
Well, that would be the
Okay.
thing, is that you would lose a structure
A
in the town
physical
of Tilton.
structure in the
Correct.
town of Tilden.
And that's what it is for a lot of people. They
Okay.
want something physically in Tilton.
I get, that makes more
Don't-
sense to me rather than a
but
second
don't-
station being there. You know, like the.
Don't lose track of the fact that the station in Northfield is less than a mile from the station.
Oh, I
in
understand,
Tilton.
yeah.
So
But I-
you're there
But I
that
can,
quick.
I can see somebody's like.
2 minutes.
Yes.
So,
2 minutes.
And
2 minutes
that,
license siren or 2
So-
minutes?
so there is the pros and cons of that.
It's
Yeah.
about the same.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pyra. Back to, so your feeling on this discussion is that we need to close Center Street, and we need an immediate solution to that.
Well, I don't think we can, I think whatever proposal we bring to the voters, it has to be our best and final. I don't think, I mean, I've been in this town 20 years, not as long as some other people, but, you know, there's been one that failed by a vote, maybe. You know, there was another, you know, there was one half a mile up the
I'm
road.
intimately familiar with it.
It failed for a variety, whatever the reasons are. But we need to get something,
I'm gonna pin you in the corner. You're gonna tell me. How do you, so for you, it's an immediate solution, and because Center Street is unsafe, and we don't have time to make a secondary proposal.
well, I'd rather it not be forced upon us, if you know, if that makes sense. I'd rather us have some say on
Us being the commission or Tilton residents?
the district having some say, where if someone else comes along and says, you know, you have, you have 2 years to build a station. You know, I don't want that
From a lawsuit.
from a lawsuit or something like that. I'd rather, let's have, you know, if that's the best place, let's build it there, okay? But if this gets ruled out, let's rule it out. And this way we can say, we can come back, because you just talked about, okay, let's not have question marks. Because right now, that's a question mark for a lot of people, in a lot of
Huge one.
people's minds.
Huge one.
But let's eliminate the question marks. And if that's the best proposal, and I always thought it was a good spot. You know, I mean, I always thought, like, why have they never looked at that? You know, you have a fire station. I don't look at it as, oh, it's in Northfield or it's in Tilton. I mean, my perfect solution is build it right over the river in between both towns.
There you go.
You know,
Let the river flow under it.
yeah,
So,
hydropower.
and we could pump water out of there instead.
Exactly. Except for
Pay the
the
water district.
except for the twice a year when they lower the dams.
Okay. So, as far as you're concerned, if there's any debate about a Sanborn Road site, it's slowing us down and we're gonna brush it aside. Is that the correct characterization of it?
If it's ruled out, if the question mark is ruled out, I'm all for it.
I'm not talking about ruling out the question mark. I'm talking about delaying the question mark. What if somebody says, you know what, we've got another year. Let's work out the details of the Sanborn Road land transfer. But it's gonna take a year or a year and a half to do it. How do you feel about that?
No, I think that would be too long, but I don't think it's gonna take a year and a half. I don't think it would take that. It's not like we have, to buy that land took a year, because you went through the Archdiocese of Manchester. You know, the citizens of the town of Tilton own that land right now.
Right.
And let's rule it out. That's all I'm saying. Let's rule it out so we can come back and say, okay, we've looked at every option. And let's rule out the naysayers, you know, because you know what, they're out there, you know, and.
So when I go to the next meeting on the 29th, thank you, do you think we'll have some definitive direction?
I think we'll know more. I think we'll know more. I can, as I say, I'm gonna bring it up as part of my selections report on Thursday,
This Thursday.
this Thursday.
Yes.
How can that get transferred to the facilities
Yeah.
committee?
I would email the chief on
You email me,
Sure,
please?
yeah, as long as it's not held non-public, which I don't think it is.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so. I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
I don't want to spin my wheels. I don't want to.
I don't want- I don't want-
volunteer time on.
I think we
on a
have, I think we have
fruitless
good
effort.
people on that committee. I think, you know, I don't know all the other previous committee members. You know, I only know a few people. I think I know most of the people on this committee, and they've done a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of time, sweat, energy. I get it, you know. But I want something that we're gonna be able to put before the district voters and get passed. That's what I want. And I want the best solution. That's what I want.
And you want it urgently, is what I'm hearing.
Well, you can say urgently.
Here's
I
my
want
concern.
us to have the say in it. I don't want someone else to tell us that we have to do something.
Right, right. Here's my concern, is once that can gets kicked once, you might as well turn around and walk away from it. Because it's gonna be another 10 years before
Well, it's
anything
already been
happens
kicked for
again.
20 years.
Trust me.
40 years probably,
I'm told-
according to the deputy.
1986.
But I think we've made a lot of progress in the last couple of years.
We have, we have.
And so it's gonna stay on that momentum
Yeah.
and everything.
Well, I guess what I would like is the firm backing of the commissioners in this endeavor. Now, I know we've had your support, you've asked us to do this, to assist you in this. All I'm asking now is that we have your support so that we can get this finalized on the timeline that we've discussed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of it.
You know, Paul, it started years and years ago, and I don't know, I mean, I've been around a long time here. I was on the fire department 32 years. But it started years ago. There was plans down there to build a station, and for 300 and some odd thousand, you could have had a nice one. It got voted down anyhow. Then within another, I don't know, whether it was 8 or 9 years or 10 years, the town of Tilton actually bought where public services now, and wanted the fire station to go in there with them. They wanted to build a police station and a fire station together. And matter of fact, they spent a lot of money. I think the town of Tilton lost a lot of money on that deal. And there again, we've donated, we've spent a lot of money on, and there again, you know, Tilton School property. Then we spent some over on John Mansfield. I think enough is enough. If we're going to keep doing that, then there's no sense going anywhere.
I couldn't agree more. So I guess the next question is, what do we do to get this past the voters? And that's a question each of you guys need to be asking yourself as well as each of us. And I mean, that's the crucial aspect of this. You can spend all the effort and
There's a
time and
20%
money.
chance it's gonna get approved. Why?
Exactly.
It's not an exercise, I mean.
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's going to be a close vote no matter what. I mean,
And there again, if you throw in something else, like you said, throw in this here, maybe in the future is here, we'll do something here. You can't. People are going to say, they don't even know what they're doing. I mean, we've been through it 3 times already. How much more do you want? I'm done with it. I've had enough.
Okay, I think I have your opinions. Thank you. I don't want to belabor it. I just want to make sure that my efforts are in the same direction as your desires. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
appreciate your time
Yeah.
that you give to this district. So, thank you.
Thanks.
So, yeah, Eric will, as a duo from that, Eric will supply what he can from the meeting to the chief, and he'll furnish you a copy.
Well, I hope he'll give it to you as well so that you can,
So the second part of that, and he'll also send it to the chair of the station committee, Kevin Kate, so I'll get it from that. Or the chief can furnish it to the 3 commissioners.
Are you gonna be at that meeting?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I would encourage you to vocalize what, kind of the discussion we had tonight and whatever information there.
That's the 29th?
29th,
And
yeah.
where is that one?
It's here,
Oh, it's here, right here.
yes,
What time?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
The hard
So
thing
we'll
is
make
if
sure
one
we
of us
get that.
shows up, it constitutes a meeting.
We can post it.
You can show up and not have any input at all,
Yeah.
because
No, I know.
No, you can have input, you can't make a decision.
you can't,
Right.
you can't make decisions, yes, you can speak up, but you just can't be part of a
I
decision.
just don't like to.
I know. So,
Look out the window.
but yes, so he will get the copy, you will get a copy, it will go to Kevin Kate, and that way I hope Kevin will pass it to all the members, so, but can you also forward it to all the commissioners too? And that, I'll be getting a parallel path that way, and that way Paul's on it as well. So when we get it, it will come from the chief to all 3 commissioners, and as well go to the chair of the station committee,
Okay, great.
and you've CC'd as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you, guys.
Another thing that I took from that is the page, our homepage, the Tilton Northfield homepage.
The website?
The
Thank you.
website?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Are we working on trying to renovate that in some fashion?
So I'm gonna bring a proposal during the budget process to have a company like the one.
Maintain it. Maintain it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that coming out of this is I would like to see where we could have surveys or feedback input so that where people are coming to you direct, they could also have an easy to find feedback for the station or for this and make it more user friendly. That way the public could actually, not even, the name could be optional, but could put their feedback in right to the page so that we would see that rather than catching 1 or 2 here and there. Then would go and we could actually be forwarded to the committees appropriately or to the commissioners. We might get more public buy-in at that point.
Sure, and I agree with that. I mean, and if we get the budget approved for that project, I think the commissioners should be heavily involved in a committee or something, to talk with the web designer to make sure that these features are included.
All right. And currently, the professional firefighters have a good Facebook page going.
That's a I guess, I haven't seen, I don't know what it
Yes.
looks like.
Okay.
But
It is Facebook,
if you do it right, they all blend in together.
yes.
Like, you could have. like,
Have them all tied in together.
Yeah, like you could, I mean, you have, yeah, you can do the links, but you know, on your homepage of your website, you have your social media feeds. You can schedule things to post on social media, and then they show up on the homepage.
Mhm.
You know, but you can use something like Hootsuite that gets you know, puts it on Instagram and then Twitter, Facebook.
Because you have to hit the different generational.
Yeah, you got yeah. What's the other one?
Snapchat.
TikTok.
No.
TikTok, no.
Yeah, but you know, TikTok is.
So,
But
yeah.
some of them are more video. Obviously, you can't put an announcement. You can put a picture, but you know.
But yeah, if we could look at, re-look at these options of getting feedback out there sooner rather than later, because even while we're in the initial process of this, this is the time where you start getting the feedback and you start soliciting, you getting them involved in what this is where it's going. You might get people may not want to come out to the meetings, but more of them sit at home and watch the meetings than we think, which is good. I mean, at least they're getting feedback from, because they come at, well, you said this, and it's like, right, we have 2 people watching at least, so. Yeah, we need to look at seeing what we can do to maybe have one of our younger techie guys help out.
I know in
currently.
Tewksbury, the meetings were actually live.
Live feed.
Yeah, a lot of that was cable. I mean, you could do it through Facebook, but you'd have to have.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put a tablet up on that and Facebook Live it, but you know, it's.
I just think we need to get more feedback.
Or you can
sooner
do,
rather
or you
than
can do
later.
the go-to-meeting type thing
The
too.
Zooms and stuff and all
Yeah.
those, yes.
Where, you know, because that's going to be different. Like on Facebook, if Facebook gets blocked down because everyone's looking at a video, then you're losing that. But at least like you're on Teams or go-to-meeting. I don't know if the Northfield Selectmen still, but the Tilton Selectmen meetings are online, like we're live, when we're not in non-public, where, you know, someone can click on to the link and they can watch it. We have people that they can't always comment because they
Yeah.
don't. it's
I
not-
think Northfield you can watch only. You
Yeah.
can't comment.
Well, that's how it was even in Tewksbury. You
Yeah.
could watch live, but you couldn't comment
Probably
unless you
fine.
went down to the town hall.
So just if we could start looking at trying to get more media out there of what we're doing, I think.
Too bad you couldn't do survey monkey to the whole district.
I was
Well,
thinking.
Can we or can't we? And why not?
I was just asking, I was thinking about that one.
Yeah, that would
But
be
can-
awesome if you could.
How do you get everybody's email address
Well,
to send it
you
to?
don't,
You don't.
but could you do it, could you
You
do
can do
the,
it through a,
You click on, you create a tab on the webpage, participate in a Survey Monkey, that links you through, and it's an anonymous, I don't think it's, I don't know that there's a way to track who it is, or I think that's the whole idea.
they
is
get the
it's
opportunity
anonymous.
to sign, put their name on if they wish.
Right, but I mean,
That's
that's the whole
Yeah.
concept behind that is, you know,
Let's
there's
look into
no,
that.
that would be a good idea. Survey Monkeys work really well.
well, the other thing is, the only thing I want to make sure that you can geofence it, and I don't know if you can, to make sure that it's only people of the district
so-
where you,
or the-
right, you don't get
yeah,
someone
yeah,
down in
yeah.
Concord
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
hacking, you know, not hacking, but,
I guess you should geofence it, but, you know, you could be on vacation.
Yeah.
no, but you could, but like,
I know what you're saying, though, you keep it within the
You want to
district.
restrict it a little bit to our area a little bit.
yeah, and I'm just thinking like, or the other thing was, I know both towns, like, Northfield has their news, or,
It gets emailed
There's
out.
a-
yeah, it gets out once a month.
Yeah.
Right.
You
And
can
it's
do that.
emailed too.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant,
If
it's
you sign up
email.
for it, you get emailed in.
Right.
Yeah, and then I know Tilton has the.
It's actually once a week.
Was it once a week?
Is it that frequent?
Thursdays or
Well, once a
Fridays?
week they send out like minutes and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like an actual newsletter, like what's going on at the Pines, what's going on at the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah,
I get
the
that one
newsletter
monthly.
goes out once a
think it's-
month. They changed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Summer.
That one I get monthly.
But then Tilton has, where if there's a street closure, they send out that, so they have an email list.
So there's ways of tapping the local
ways-
email
yeah.
list that you may not have 100%, but you may have 60 or 50%. That's still a good base to start.
Yeah, if we could get
Sure.
those, you know, if we could get the email lists that the town has.
Yeah,
Then-
and there's ways to harvest it. You can actually put a link out there, say, give us your email address, and we're gonna do a newsletter. And you'll be surprised how many people will respond to that.
Or we send it out through the two towns.
I've been done a little guerrilla work.
And then they just attach it into theirs so that they still own the database of who it goes to. They're not giving it out.
You can buy those databases.
Yeah, I'd
I don't
rather.
want to buy.
Okay. we're on the same process on that. But yeah, if we could start looking at that, because we really just need to start publicly putting out stuff. I mean, you guys are just snapping photos. You had the burns, the trucks coming in.
Yep.
We need to be marketing those trucks. We need to get photos of the trucks out there in front of the stations. I mean, just everything we possibly can to get some young firefighters who are really good with computers on their off time.
I've also thought of like, because again, I sit at home and I do nothing and I listen to the scanner and I thought, oh, if I go, just go see if I get the action shot, just the ambulance, you know, obviously I don't want to invade anyone's privacy, but there's a guy that does News 603 or 603 News, and he gets a lot of pictures. And again, he doesn't get like, he's not going to
See
get
the
fire
first picture
face.
that's authorized?
He gets
Alan?
Yeah, we got one or two that are authorized photographers for fire
Yeah,
grounds and stuff.
There's another one out there that's on Facebook.
it's News 603
News
or
603 or something.
He does a lot of Concord, but he like takes pictures of the, you know, oh, the mutual aid people show up. He'll try to get a picture of every truck that's at the scene.
Yes.
He's not going to get you the gore. He'll get like the 30,000 foot view where there was a head-on crash near the racetrack over the weekend, and you know he's a quarter mile away and he's got the scene. You can see there's a lot of apparatus there. And then when the cars were up on the tow trucks, he put it, but you know he blends out the license plates and tries to make it as not too specific. But
Well, gentlemen, thank you. I'm going to head out. Kathy,
Yeah.
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Just out of trouble. I don't want to read your name in the police blotter.
You won't, I promise.
Thank you for coming.
See you.
Mr. Mesa, thank you very much.
Good night, gentlemen. You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so definitely information, we gotta get it out there. So we'll gotta look at options for that, and any way we can, and maybe next month we'll kind of throw some on the table to try and go with, that we can do, possibly implement sooner than after budget approval in March, if it's feasible.
Yep.
So I'll come up, I know a few ideas I'm thinking, and like that survey monkey, if we could just kind of like grab at a few ideas and kind of toss them to the table and see what sticks next month. Like, I mean, I know you do a lot of computer stuff and things like that too. We all have our different areas of expert.
Yeah, mine's spreadsheets.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a good old fashioned Excel spreadsheet.
Yep. All right. So if we're good with that, we're going to keep going. We're going to go into review minutes.
What about old business?
Oh crap!
You skipped a bunch.
I did. I am sorry. All right.
It's okay.
Oh, that was reports to committees, and we kind of got into a lot more, and then we covered Sanborn in it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
District
cover,
clerk.
I'll move new business up to cover that, and then we can just do the old business.
Sure.
Okay,
So,
whatever works for you guys.
District clerk, have we made any progress?
We have still had no interest in the district clerk position.
So we have a position available that we're trying to fill, by the way.
I've been doing a little research, and if we don't have a clerk appointed prior to district meeting, the body can vote on a person at that meeting to act as clerk for that meeting,
Okay.
to take the minutes. But
Okay.
it's just for that one
Yeah.
meeting, but, you know, it's not gonna solve the problem, but it's a fix.
Right.
It has to be a resident too, right?
It has to be a resident of the district,
Of the district,
yes.
yeah.
I'm just saying, I know some people that would be good, like, to do in minutes, but they're not residents.
Right.
Guess we could move them in for a
Are you
day.
interested?
How do you have these
Not one of my strong suits, no.
Wait,
I
slow
always,
down.
I was administrator, I had
will-
somebody taking the minutes.
We are going to have an election before that meeting, so the clerk position would
Yes.
probably be up on that ballot beforehand,
Right. If it's.
if someone wanted it.
Right, if the special district meeting is prior to,
Okay.
that's where we're running into
Got
an
it.
issue.
Okay. I was thinking of the Band-Aid for the big one, but yes, there will most likely, potentially, maybe be a meeting beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay. But, so there is a Band-Aid for that meeting, but,
right.
okay. And that's still posted on our page too?
It is.
Okay.
I did put that out on Facebook, so.
Good.
Yeah, nobody, you know, it's one of those thankless jobs.
It is.
It pays.
Yeah.
It
oh,
does.
It's huge. Huge
It's a
stuff.
stipend for, a good stipend for what little you're doing. I mean, for the little parts of the year that you're doing it. You're doing a lot of work in that small bundle, but it's just,
The problem's all crammed into 3 weeks.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of the whole thing.
You can go out to a nice dinner for the amount of money
The
that.
room is there.
Yeah, nice. You go to always with your family.
And another family.
All right.
Depends upon how much you drink.
So that's really all we had, just an update on that. Still nothing, but we do have a Band-Aid if we have a special meeting.
That is correct.
And that is important information, that
Yes.
that the Band-Aid.
That's why, you know, that's one thing, I'm like, nobody's responding. Nope.
No. All right. So then we're finally caught up to go in to review the minutes.
Yeah.
Did everyone get a chance to read the minutes from 7:12?
Yeah, I did nothing.
I didn't see anything that stood out to me as a concern, but
I caught one thing.
you got a typo or a big
It's a typo. If you look at the chief's report, it says for the month of May, and it should say for the month of June. The numbers are all correct, it's just that the month is wrong.
Okay.
So I've corrected that.
So,
Oh, it's way down.
Yeah, it's not by Canterbury.
Well, Park Street would
Mile
have
markers by heart.
been, Park Street would have been a good station to respond from.
I would have been the first ones there, more than likely.
Sorry, just had to. All right, so do someone make a motion to accept the minutes with that adjustment based on the month?
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of 07/1/12/22 with the exception of the date.
With the adjustment of
That's
the date?
correct.
Transfer as corrected.
Okay,
Second.
okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0, it passes.
Okay. Take one and pass it down.
For the non-publics.
They're stapled together, 1 and 2, one's on top.
I'm gonna go ahead and exit now. Looks like a good time.
If you wish,
Yeah. I'm gonna go
we're
ahead.
not going into
Just
non-public,
just to
but
let you know, tomorrow at 5:30, if you want to come to the fire station, the police station, they're swearing in the new police chief.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it's at 5:30. They're expecting a couple hundred people.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Good, thank you.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you
interest
for
in coming
coming.
out.
Thank you. We'll see you at the next one.
Okay.
All right.
They will come. Very nice, nice guy. What's this one?
July 12th.
I know, for the traffic.
Remember we had 2?
yeah, you had 2.
Yep.
And you didn't seal them, so.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session 1 and separately.
You can do it both if
Whatever you
everyone's
want.
comfortable.
1 and 2, non-public session 1 and 2 of July 12th, 2022.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All is second. Is there any discussion on it? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. 3-0 in favor. All right. Okay, so before we go into non-public, everyone, the other business will be review and sign manifest, but then we're gonna go into non-public. Pull out the wonderful sheet. 222, oh, it's here, I'm here, where it's here. Come to that in a second. Okay, so. All right, so it's gonna be A.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna make a motion to enter non-public session in regards to specific statutory of RSA 91-A:3, 2A. The dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, 1, has the right to a public meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
Can you just make the motion?
No, you just read.
Well, actually,
You can make, did you
Well,
make
I'll
it?
second
I
it.
did. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep,
I don't know, it sounded like he was making a motion.
it works for me.
I know.
Yeah, all right. So this is a roll call to go into. So Paul?
Aye.
Myself, yes.
Fiverr, yes.
All right. So at this point, we will pause, and
What
it
time?
is a column of
6:58.
6:58. That column is in the perfect spot for this. All
I
right.
know.
And
I'll make a motion. we-
I'll second it.
There we go. Okay, and
You
time.
gotta do the recorder,
Yeah, thank you.
7:36.
Turn
I
that
don't know.
on.
7:36 now.
Okay.
I was actually with that fire alarm.
And we are returning to public. Motion was made by Paul Ogier, seconded by Eric Pyra. We return to public at 7:36, you said?
Yep.
7:36 PM. They still have roll call, the non-public session.
Yes.
To exit.
Okay, myself, yes.
Fiverr, yes.
Okay, we got the recorders on. Okay, do anyone feel the need to seal the minutes?
It was-
You didn't seal the previous
No.
ones.
No.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't like sealing a lot if we don't.
No, I just,
Okay, so we don't hit, okay, so we don't need any of that. It's recorded by me. All right,
Now you
so,
just have to state,
no. So what we did is, in non-public, we addressed amendment to section 10 of the fire chief's employment contract. All right, is there a motion to be made?
so moved.
So your motion was to accept the contract amendment as presented?
Yes.
Okay. So that was by Eric Pyra. You want a second or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay, I will. John Silly seconded. All right, any other discussion on that motion that we discussed? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
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 3-0 in favor of accepting the motion to section 10 of the chief's employment contract as discussed. All right, does someone have a clean one that I can scribble on, because we'll need signatures?
I got one.
Oh, he's got one started, okay.
Throw one of math in the middle of it?
Well, I scribble all over mine, notes and stuff. Yeah, your turn. All right, she'll get a copy of that. Okay, so that being said, this goes to her.
Get this one.
What are you gonna type?
thank you.
Like that?
All righty.
Do we keep, do you get this back?
It's contract, isn't it?
Yeah. there's
Yeah,
not-
we're gonna have, I'll take the signed and
He has a signed
dated
one.
Right,
It's-
but,
and I'll just put it with his file.
Right there.
Okay,
so what about
perfect.
this,
She can
Yeah,
take those
you can
two, or
have
Fred,
that.
or whatever.
So,
Yeah.
who, Eric made the motion.
I seconded.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, review and sign manifests. I still owe one. I don't know if I'm the only one.
yeah, well, I owe that.
You owe a big one too? Oh, you have first?
No, you can go first.
Well, either or. Okay, so we still have that. Next meeting dates, September 6th here for us. Fire Commissioners, next meeting is, Fire Station Committee,
It's the August 29th.
August 29th, and Safer Committee is in hiatus for now.
Sometime, I think we looked in September.
Okay,
I'll be contacting to find them to set up a date.
okay. And then we have a Selectmen's meeting coming up that you're gonna address something
Yep.
with the district. And you're gonna reach out to legal to try and get that contract back from him so that we can move forward with that.
I told you my travel date's in September, right? I think I did. put that in.
I don't have it on here, but I might have it on my computer,
That's what
in
I
my
talked on the
work
phone.
calendar.
I don't think I emailed you, I think
I think we did it over the phone, let me look.
I just called you and told you I just did it.
All right, so September,
That would be amazing.
March.
Sometimes it's just quicker.
Okay, Chief is gone August 22nd for a while.
I'm leaving,
And
let me get my computer up. My,
14th to the 16th is on this calendar for Ohio,
Yes, and then the following week,
22nd to the 26th.
I'll be in San Antonio.
right.
Uh-huh. And then we have the building committee.
It's only like 1,000 degrees there.
Yeah, but it's still a great city to visit. All right,
Not if you get breathe the air.
so that's, it looks like all we have for August for dates, and then I know I'm gonna do some look at media options and looking at the homepage and seeing if there's anything we can do with it. I'm not touching it, I'm
Okay.
just seeing
Okay.
ideas and stuff. I don't have permissions, but just trying to see what.
I
I
have
missed the first
Eric-
part of your sentence, because
I
I
have
was
you out
looking
of
at
town
the
the
date.
22nd to the
So-
29th.
I'm gonna look at some social media stuff of how we
That
can
works.
kind of bring into the next meeting, if people can bring some of those ideas of what might be feasible at low cost.
Okay.
Just to see, just starting public information and how we can start getting more communication to and from.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, that being said,
It's all said and done, it is your website.
I know,
Yes.
but I'm not myself gonna go in and
Yeah.
adjust characters and stuff like that. But just thought process to bring to the crowd. All right, so we did meeting dates, so anyone wanna get out of here?
Well,
Oh, You caught him before he said it.
All right, we're coming into September.
Oh. Uh-oh, budget.
You guys brought up September, so we're gonna talk about budget.
When's the budget committee gonna meet?
Um,
Well, they meet later.
They meet later, so we need to get you guys done sooner rather than later so that we can get them started to get done.
So I'm, myself, pretty flexible, everything but Mondays. It seems like everything lands on Mondays except this.
Okay?
So I don't know other people.
27th is
That late?
that's just, well, I'm out of town.
Okay.
Yes, you're out of town the 22nd through the 29th, Eric.
Yeah. If I had to, I could probably be here on 29th.
Yeah.
It appears
Dr.
on meeting
Pearson.
11 o'clock next Friday with Eversource.
Okay. How soon, how far along are you in the budget process to be working on it with the deputy to get it kind of refined for us to start?
Just started, really.
Okay.
I'm working on,
What's timeline for your, I mean, I know you take a lot of it and then just figure out multipliers based on local things, but it's a generic of that, but.
yes. I probably really won't get cracking really in-depth to it, getting the finer details of it until near the end of August.
On the end of August.
Because I'm pretty much
We're
tied
talk-
up until then.
We're talking September for the first meeting, Chief.
Okay. It won't take me that long to get the basic part of it done. And we already started working on the salary
Yes,
portion.
we did.
So
Okay.
that's really the big part.
Okay.
So, looking at September,
Yep. You meet the 6th.
meet here.
Yep.
Eric's not here. The chief is still busy every Wednesday. So-
Tuesdays.
Yeah, we can do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I can do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone else.
Depends on the Thursday, because I have selectment on the.
Right, you do.
Yeah, we'll work
We
it around.
currently are only meeting the 1st and the 3rd. It's not the Thursday of the month, but that's probably some.
So why don't we block out some Tuesdays
Tuesdays?
and then your
Yeah.
Thursday in between if that works.
Yeah.
Unless you need a break
Alright.
from everything.
I need a break or anything, like this week is like, I had something every night this week, so. So Tuesday the 13th?
Probably as a starter.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can kind of get our rules and plan on our commissioners meeting.
Let's see.
So I'm putting it on the calendar as Commissioner's budget work session.
Okay.
Budget meeting,
Yeah.
what time?
Does 5:30 still work for you? Okay, that gives you time.
I was 5 minutes early, didn't I?
You were.
Yes. Yep.
4:30 would be ideal, but, you know.
Let's not make it a habit.
Yep. Yep.
So the 13th,
Yes. 5:30?
yeah, and then we're doing the 20th?
That would be the next one, yeah. And which Thursday would you be available around there? Which ones did you say you have?
First and third, so the 8th,
So the 15th would be your.
No, I would not.
He's in a meeting,
I would be in a meeting.
Okay.
and then he's gone the following 2 Thursdays.
I probably could be here Thursday, because I don't fly out until Friday or Saturday. So,
Or do we start on the 8th, which is Thursday, that would then move into Tuesday the 13th? And if we have to take a week in between, I'm sure we might appreciate it by then.
And so what are you thinking? You'll have a meeting, if you do that, you'll have a meeting the 6th, the 8th, the 13th, and then the 20th, and then you skip to October.
I think that's a pretty good start.
That
It
gives
really
4
does.
periods, or
Yeah.
3 periods,
So
unless
what do
you-
we say, the 6th? I have the 6th, the
The
8th?
6th is a regular meeting,
Yeah, sorry, the 8th and the 13th.
And the
and the
20th.
20th.
So that gives us 3 dedicated to budget right off the bat to get into.
And then
And that's when you'll be working the other stuff, because you probably won't have salaries in there until a little bit later into the process.
We should have salaries squared away by then.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Does that sound like a good plan to you?
Yeah, sounds good.
One of the things we won't have are insurances,
Yeah.
costs for insurance.
Yeah.
Those
We
usually
won't
come in
know those
October.
until sometime in October,
Yeah.
near the end.
But if
Yeah.
we can have most of the stuff done, I mean, heck, if we could have a week off in between of nothing.
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Jinx us.
All right, so September's gonna be busy.
Yes.
So I have a fire chiefs meeting, I don't know where, on September 8th. And I can't remember if it's a day or, I have it scheduled as a day, but they changed it on us, so I don't know if it's a day or an evening meeting.
Could
So
you
I have
get back to us on
I
that
have
one?
to get- So I have a meeting with, fire chief meeting tomorrow, so I'll find out tomorrow. what it is.
Because I definitely I personally would like to see the deputy involved in a lot of this, but for the first meeting, I don't think it's I'd rather have you here with him rather than say, hey, he can just take it and run with it.
Right.
I mean, maybe the second meeting or
Get
something,
on
just to
the
get that
website.
feel of everything, it's kind of a good mentoring process.
We've done it before.
I don't like doing that. I know we have,
I
but
know. It's like, ugh.
I'm trying to get on the website. Probably tell
The
me.
internet might approve.
I got nothing coming in.
the dang selectmen need to get like a guest Wi-Fi.
That's slow.
I thought I had a guest Wi-Fi connection.
It says I got like 3 bars.
Yeah.
So that's the Association of Fire Chiefs?
Yeah.
All right, so where would I
Mayor's
go to look?
Association of Fire Chiefs.
Is that
Oh,
NHAFC?
weird. My DOT. That was perfect.
Tim probably
Okay,
broke it.
They probably did.
Oops, here, I can turn it back on.
Well, it said there was no internet, but now I clicked, tapped on it and it said it's there.
All right, go back to the top. Up.
I'm going.
No, stop. Go down this way. Go
This-
down. Right there, calendar events. September meeting. Click on that.
Okay.
Make sure you community college during the day.
It's a day meeting, so that's
So
not an
we will
issue.
start the 8th and you'll be
Yes.
here for the start.
Yes.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Wow, it's almost like.
It
we've
just
all
came
done
in.
this
I just
before.
got it.
He did too.
The internet was down, so I.
Tim probably turned the internet back on as he walked through. All right. Do you have anything else before I let him do it?
No, that should do it for tonight.
Okay.
We're not meeting again this month. So what I will do is, when I have the credit card bills, I'm gonna have to,
Digital, send it out digital?
yes,
Okay. You may have to call and say, hey, it's there.
I will. And Paul.
She calls me too.
Drop it off at Paul's office on the way home.
All right.
Or on the way in, because he's there.
So you're good?
I'm good.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Any discussion? I doubt. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And 3-0, and it is what time?
7:50.
7:50.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes. No, thank you. Like I said, I want to be able to sell it at the end of the year as we discussed, so just make sure you're in your... Guys, help me. John's a pain. Help me.